Hey guys, Esther here. Recently, I had my hair blown out for the first time in 8 years. And that was coincidentally the last time I also flat ironed up my hair because I used to be what's known as a straight natural. I didn't even know what that was. I just knew that we weren't using relaxer on my hair, but we were getting it straight using the methods that my current hairstylist had recommended. And at some point, I was just really over the straight hair and I was like, I just want to go back to natural. But I had been researching it. I understood how to take care of it. Well, somewhat. I've learned a lot over the last year that's really made me step up my game in as far as taking care of my hair. But I understood how to take better care of it and to work with it and manage it. And I was afraid of heat for a really long time after that and just never looked back because my hair was fried by the flat ironing and the constant blow drying because I used to get it blow dried once a month for years. And what I've gone ahead and done is just been natural for the last 8 years and never ever put heat on my hair. And it's only been recently with quarantine and getting back into looking at all the hair videos and what kind of cool things I can do, I have been considering kind of maybe using heat on my hair. So the other day we grabbed a blow dryer, blow dried my hair, and it was really interesting to see what happened next. There's a bunch of videos on the different styles I tried. All of these styles that I can also achieve with my curly hair, albeit they look different because curly hair behaves differently. But I learned a lot of things over that week that I had my hair blown out that I thought I would just hop on and share with y'all. So without further ado, here are 10 things I learned from having blown out hair for a week. The first thing I learned is that leave-in conditioner works fine as a heat protectant. I had actually been doing a little bit of research on this, and on one of the videos I watched, they went through different types of heat protectant, and one of them was leave-in conditioner from Design Essentials, which I already had in my bathroom, so that was perfect. And when we blow dried my hair, the results came out pretty good. It probably could have been straighter, but I didn't want to use too much heat on my hair because the blow dryer we have doesn't have settings that tells you how hot it is. It just gets hotter and hotter and hotter. So we were trying to go quick. We were trying to get it mostly, straight-ish. And with that in mind, I tried to make sure I had enough leave-in conditioner that it wasn't like super wet, but it wasn't going to dry out so quickly either. And it seemed to work because my curls reverted really, really nicely. Lesson number 2 is that I had to treat my blown out hair like wavy hair, the way that people who have naturally wavy or loose curly hair have to treat their hair, which is when it's brushed out, it looks like a crazy frizzy mess. You want to think of Hermione from the Harry Potter series or the main character from the Princess Diaries. And what you really don't want to be doing with wavy hair is brushing it out. You want to be combing it when you're in the shower and then styling it and then letting it dry the way it wants to dry and then not brushing it again until you're ready to restyle it. Of course, I couldn't get the hair wet because I had blown out hair, and if I got it wet, it would have reverted. But one of the things that I could do, which is often that you do with blown out hair, is set it, even though I wasn't getting it wet to set it, and then take it down in the morning, whether it was bantu knots or braids, and just kind of have braid outs and things like that, and realize that it's like wavy hair. It can't really be brushed in that state or else it's just gonna get bigger and bigger. And while big hair is amazing, that wasn't quite the look I was going for. The third lesson I learned is that grease still works, and my hair hates oil. Now, I haven't used grease since I was like really little because my mom used to do it for me, and then we did relaxer in my hair, and then we had it straightened, and during none of those years did I use grease. I used a lot of oil, and it never was good for my hair. It was terrible for my skin, and my hair hates oil, even in its natural curly state. I can't put it on. I've never tried grease because the curling creams and leave-in conditioners and everything work great for me. But when I had it wavy, I was like, what can I put in it? I tried a little bit of some spray and olive oil. I tried some serums. None of that worked. And I was like, what can I put in it to help me achieve the styles that I want that isn't going to revert it, but that's still going to make it soft and is going to actually absorb into the hair? And we had a bottle of grease from who knows how long ago. I think the brand is discontinued actually, just lying around, and I pulled that out and started using it, and my results were phenomenal. My hair behaved, it was soft, it was manageable, it didn't feel greasy. I was able to achieve all the different styles I wanted to achieve, and overall I just really loved the experience that I had when using grease. So if I were to blow dry my hair again in the future, I would definitely be using that once I have gotten my hair straight. Now the next thing is that The grease also kind of helped a little bit with alleviating the itching on my scalp because I couldn't wash it, and that was really a new experience for me. I usually rinse my hair at least every 3 to 4 days and wash it whenever I feel like it needs it. So sometimes it's once a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks, sometimes once a month. When I say wash, I mean with shampoo. But I'm always getting in the shower and rinsing my hair, getting it wet daily, every other day, every few days. I found that dry shampoo did help, but the kind that I had says waterless, but the first ingredient is water. It just means it's fast drying, so I really need to invest in a good powder dry shampoo for next time. And that's my fourth tip, that dry shampoo still really helps. Even if it wasn't quite the kind that I wanted, I was still able to relieve the itching and alleviate that. The fifth thing I learned is that nighttime protection is really important. Again, when I had straight hair, I did not ever use silk bonnets or satin pillowcase or tie up my hair at night. Like, I was just out here in the wild, and that's why my hair was breaking off and I had acne everywhere. But this time, especially with all the grease and oil, I was like, I'm not about to let that get in my sheets, on my face, whatever. So I was still making sure I put a bonnet on my head at night and using my satin pillowcase, making sure I'm braiding it up or putting it in a bun to protect it. I feel that really helped maintain the integrity of my hair over the week that I had it blown out. I really didn't notice any split ends or anything like that. So I felt like my hair stayed healthy and soft, and my face and everything was protected during the week that I had it blown out. Kind of going into that, the sixth thing that I learned is I need to keep my hair off my face. Now, I've already known this because of all the oils that are in the creams and the butters and things that I use, but I just kept that same process going. I didn't let the hair hang in my face because I just didn't want it touching my face. A small thing that I learned, but just really continuing the same type of hair care practices that I've been doing for the last few years that I never did before when I used to have straight hair. The seventh thing I learned is that blown out hair still needs to be put in protective styles. I wasn't really sure what to do with it at first, so I was just doing some braids. And then I did some styles where my hair was out, but really I wanted to make sure that I protected those ends. And just because my hair was in a straighter state, I didn't want to neglect it. Again, I think that's why my hair suffered so badly when I used to be a straight natural. Again, I didn't know what that meant at the time. I was just a confused teenager. But now that I have the wealth of hair knowledge at my fingertips, I knew that I needed to take care of it, and that meant braiding it up. Even though I maybe did more braided styles than I should have, but braiding it up and covering it at night and making sure that it was just protected and the ends were tucked away when I wasn't going out somewhere. The eighth thing I learned is that I actually am not super into having my hair braided when it's blown out because the styles were too tight on my head. Because everything was straight, the tension was just really easy to have too much of it. When my hair is curly, it tends to really resist being in a tight style. Even now, it's pretty loose. I just like how loose it is. And when I do get my hair braided, when it's in its curly state, I'm always saying, oh, tug harder, because my hair just likes to come out of whatever braid style it's in. It doesn't like to retain. It tangles easily, but it doesn't really mat. And so my hair just, when I had it straight, I was all of a sudden experiencing like tension on my head that I'm not used to having when I was braiding. So that was something interesting. A negative about having blown out hair is that the braided styles were kind of detrimental to my scalp. Of course, the solution is to braid loosely, but I just felt like I could see redness and irritation, and I'm so happy to get back to curly hair when I braid, I'm not gonna have that issue. The ninth thing I learned is that it's weird having hair down my back. When my hair was straight before, it was never this long. It was like maybe about to here. I just never experienced that feeling of hair flowing down my back, particularly because I would always have it out for like 2 days and then put it in a bun and put oil on it and just keep it like that for a month until I got flat ironed again. And so for me to have like hair touching my shoulders, it would be like, oh, what's this? It's hair. It was a really surreal feeling. And whether it was loose or I had it in braids, when I had it kind of just cascading down my back, it was just an unfamiliar feeling. I kind of liked it. And I would definitely, if I were to straighten it again, maybe even do a silk press at some point, I would have to just enjoy that feeling of having it down my back, because that's not something I'm used to. Now on the topic of getting my hair silk pressed at some point, it's low-key something I want to do maybe like once a year. I see the girlies doing it and their hair seems to be fine. I am planning on getting my hair colored, so we'll see how that goes first. It is a little bit damaged in parts where I've just put sun in myself, so I want to get it professionally done, put, Olaplex, try to repair those bonds and everything, and then let my hair grow out, trim off any other damage that I see, and then maybe consider getting it silk pressed. But the 10th thing that I learned is that even though that would be fun to have straight hair, and I remember having straight hair and the blowout was really fun to play around with, I I really missed having curly hair, you guys. That was my 10th thing. I love having curly hair. I feel like it frames my face so well. I have all these fun styles that I can do, and it's just, I've learned to manage my curly hair, and it was kind of difficult to manage the blowout, especially not being able to like wash my scalp. I don't know how people do it and their scalp's not on fire. But I never have any issues with like flaking or itchiness or dryness when my hair is curly. And if it does get a little itchy, just rinse it or go wash it or shampoo it, and then I'm good to go. So I really missed having the curly hair. I'm happy I have the curly hair. Also, the color just kind of looked dull and bland and washed out on my blown out hair, and the color looks amazing in my curly hair. So just the way it sits, the light reflects it differently, and I like having the blonde in the curly versus having the blonde in the straight. So there you have it, 10 things I learned about having my hair blown out for a week. I know I had fun with it, and maybe in the future I'll do it again. Who knows? I'll see you in the next one.